Hello, welcome to the Daily Telegraph NRL Podcast. Adam Mobbs here with Michael Carianis and Phil Rothfield. It's been a big week of rugby league, but I have one very important question. Have either of you put your forearm in your mouth this week?
Yeah, I had to after Gordy insinuated that it was the thing to do. Did you do it, Buzzy?
No, I thought it was nonsense.
You are a nincompoop.
I didn't. Crawls did it.
Mate, I tried to explain on Monday night, the bloke bit him. So you don't need... The other thing I tried to explain to Gordy, I'm on blood thinners, right? And you don't go biting yourself.
Gordon Tallis, Paul Gallen, Spud Carroll, Paul Crawley, James Hooper. I think James Hooper did both forearms. I read his piece this week. He was doing one with a bite, the other one just with the pushing down to the back of the head to make it work. But have you ever seen the carry-on around an alleged bite as you have this week?
I haven't, Mobbsy. As I said, when I saw it happen, I saw the replay on Fox, high-definition TV. It's not hard to see bite marks, was it?
No, it's pretty clear. Usually they're a bit ambiguous sometimes, those allegations where you can't see it or you can't see the actual incident because players are around and then you can't really see the teeth marks from the cameras, but clear as.
Oh, talk about unambiguous. What am I meant to do?
Yeah, what am I meant to do?
Doesn't really help your defence.
What am I meant to do? Anyway.
Did you ever play... Is that what he said too? It's not a good way of getting on side, but it's very early in the hearing, is it?
Very rare. I don't think... I haven't
Jack should have been in the room, not doing it on video. You get a better idea of what you can get away with. Bad news for South, guys.
Do you think Tyson Gamble should have been made to front?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
No, not on finals week.
Not made. Okay.
Oh, but
he
should have been video evidence.
Video or a written statement, or there had to be something. There had to be a contribution for him after making those allegations.
Absolutely. If you make a serious allegation like that, and he was asked on the field, do you want to go on with it? He said yes, correct. Well, if you want to go on with it, you got to provide evidence.
Yeah, you can't backtrack.
Fatima Kadu. Well, he didn't really backtrack because Fatima Kadu asked him up at Newcastle during the week whether it was a bite. He said, "Yeah, I thought it was a bite, but I'm not testifying. I've got a game to worry about." So he wasn't backing down from the claims. He just wasn't interested in the judiciary process. So, but unless they change the rules, you've got to compel them to do it. So, what do you think of the 3 weeks?
You've already used about 15% of your serious stuff to open up.
I just talked about the 6 Palookas who were sucking on their own forearms.
Well, it's still footy related. That's still footy related.
3 weeks, gibber. Yeah, 3 weeks is too light for a bite.
Were they hedging their bets?
I would have been happy with 4.
They hedged. Of course they are. 3 weeks is definitely hedging their bets.
Should have been 4 weeks.
And he should have been penalised.
Should have been penalised.
On the field.
Yep.
Anyway.
And probably a good thing Canberra didn't win because they should have had 12 men on the field once the judiciary's found him guilty. It means he should have been set off.
Yeah.
And no Las Vegas for Jackie Boy.
No, that's going to hurt him. That will hurt him. You don't send him either, surely.
There was a bit of mail. There was almost a rort that Jack was going to re-declare himself available for the Kangaroos.
Good smart, but no chance.
Yeah, but you know what? It's... Look, when we went to England, how many players did we take? 20-odd?
23.
23. See, the problem is now, because it's a local tournament, they're only allowed to pick 20 players.
Yeah, only 20 players. They're only playing 2, maybe 3 tests.
So you can't have 19 and Jack White.
No.
When he's not going to play.
No, but you could have, if he was eligible for rep football, they could have counted those games as suspension, considering that he played at the World Cup. So
but he'd already retired from rep footy, Mick.
No, I get that. I'm saying, had
Come
he
on,
not...
mate. Lift.
Did I not say if he was eligible?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I opened with.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I missed that part.
So, yes, he's done himself out of using those games, but he'll use the All-Stars game will be one. We've seen that used in the past, so he'll miss 2 games for South. So South have got off pretty lightly here.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be disappointing because I think every player would have loved to be going to Vegas, wouldn't they? And the idea of playing over there.
Player.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, I know.
I wonder if they'll take him.
I'm taking gifts, by the way.
You can't take him.
Well, Russell Crowe might want to fly him there to get to know the players. They'll have a training camp.
I was about to say that, yeah. It'll depend on how long they go for in terms of if they're there for a couple of weeks. to train somewhere in America as part of a preseason camp, then you would. But if you're there for 7 days, you probably wouldn't. You'd leave him back here with some staff back here and train.
Yeah.
Will the Roosters take Jared, Rio Hargraves?
I would think so. He's an important part, isn't he? I'm sure Nick Politis will stump up an airfare for Jared to go across. Might be playing, but he's still the heart of that footy club, isn't he? You know?
Clubs will get X amount of players and staff that the NRL will pay for. So it's up to them if they want to pay for over the top of that or include those blokes as part of that group.
It's an interesting thing. Do you take a kid over who's going to be banging on the door for selection and reward him and get him amongst that professional? It's an interesting one, Adam.
It's a nice little carrot for the pre-season, isn't it? For off-season training.
Yeah.
You want to?
Before we go any further,
21.
I'm going to get a bit of gibber going. How was the meatballs?
It was very good. They were very good.
You didn't post it on social media.
I
grass?
sent it to you guys.
Was it
No,
vegan, as I suspected? The grass?
You said, how were the meatballs? And then you asked if they were vegan.
Well,
Are you all right today?
That's a very good comeback. That's a very, very good comeback.
So, no.
What are they called?
Porcupine meatballs.
Porcupine.
And someone sent me a text saying that their mum used to make them, and it went by one of my mates, and it went by a different name.
Listen, tell me about the texture.
Hedgehogs they were called as well.
Hedgehogs.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
What's the texture like? Is it like a beef or
It's like a
chicken?
It's like a meatball.
So you
meatball.
couldn't even tell?
They were porcupine meatballs.
Yeah.
No. If Clara just said to me they were meatballs, I would have said, oh, cool.
What about the difference in
Well,
descriptions?
why do you buy porcupine then? It probably costs an arm and a leg.
We're not eating porcupine.
Well, you are their meat.
What is going on here? No, it's just the name.
What are you doing? What are you eating porcupine for? I thought, what are
It's a
echidnas?
description of them because of the texture and the shape of them.
Oh, right. Did you know that, Mobbsy? Or might
No, I thought, are you talking
come
to echidnas? Gee, this is outrageous.
Did you honestly think No, you didn't.
I did.
You've got massive problems.
Well, you're the one with problems. You come in here and announce you're having porcupine friggin' meatballs, and it turns out they're just normal meatballs. That'll do me. They're with spikes on them. You are a goose.
I'm at a loss here.
Are you?
Where do you even buy porcupine from?
Ask your wife.
No. Oh, wow.
What about the explanation of the
That's
texture? If we had Brent Reed in here and you asked that question, you wouldn't have got
No.
they're meatballs. You would have got a 10-minute sermon on cooking.
Yeah.
You need to lift that game.
Now you sound like my wife.
I don't want you taking part in the meal section anymore. You've misled. You have misled my listeners.
I want to look to the listeners out there, put in the YouTube comments or on Twitter or email, if anyone actually thought I was eating a porcupine.
I did. Did you or not?
Aside from Phil.
I did.
Gav, the producer, did you think I was eating porcupine? No. No.
Oh, jeez. The gibber section has gone way back the other way now. The needle has swung.
I don't know how we recover from this.
Yeah. I can recover
Your credibility's on the line here, Buzz.
No, it's not. Well, you didn't believe me last week when I told you it was a plant and it was grass.
No, anyway.
Oh, I can straighten this up. Val Holmes sanction this week. Issued a breach notice under the NRL Code of Conduct. What about this line from the NRL, where it's alleged Holmes engaged in conduct which has brought the game and his club into disrepute by publicly associating the game with illegal drugs?
Yeah.
Well, this comes in under the stupidity part of the podcast because anyone who is so dumb to put a bag with some white bag in his mouth, take a photo of himself and put it on social media should be sitting in your chair over there because that... Well, what I'm saying is...
Why am I chair?
Well, he should be part of this podcast because it's a stupid thing to do.
It is a dumb... Yeah, it is dumb.
What about the it was a prank gone wrong excuse?
Well, how... Do you believe it? You know, that's what he's saying, and I don't have any evidence to suggest that it wasn't.
How did that prank go right in the alternate universe? How are they sitting back there now going, I remember that time I put that. Yeah. Woohoo.
Yeah, no.
Got him now.
It was brain dead either way.
Oh, dear.
So it wasn't funny. And it's going to be an expensive thing. You look at the sanctions he's got. If he accepts the NRL sanctions, I think the fine will probably be between $15,000 and $30,000 because that's what Brandon and Cameron Munster got. Munster's on probably a bit more money than Val Holmes, but not as much as Val's on more than Brandon. So I think he'll sit somewhere in there, and they got a game each. So I think he'll probably sit somewhere in between there.
Yep, and under the new CBA, no information on the sanctions will be available until after it's
just ridiculous.
So
just ridiculous.
5 days. We have to wait at least.
Yep.
Mobbsy, I was thinking Mad Monday scandal, there'd been nothing, right? There's been nothing, has there?
No.
And then we get this idiot who should know better. He's been around a long time now, Val.
Yep.
And I just don't understand why he has brought the game into disrepute.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can knock the breach notice, what the NRL have written there.
No.
So
wonder what the Players Union thinks about it, the RLPA, because that was one of the hold-ups, wasn't it, with the CBA, was the
integrity unit and who would run that, and
the various measures
Andrew Abdo's potential coming in over the top and that sort of stuff. But yeah, I can't be critical of that from the NRL.
Speaking of CBA, what about that story this week that you had around the backflips back? Well, in some ways.
Yeah, it's a bit of a beat up to call it a backflip, I think.
Oh, thanks. How you going, bud?
But they're bringing back the rule where current clubs are given 10 days opportunity to re-sign a player who's going to commit elsewhere, basically. So if Buzz wants to go to the ABC, the Telegraph have 10 days to
Adam has 10 days.
A 10-day window to convince you otherwise, right? So what can happen is your current club can go to the NRL to see, hey, has this club actually put in a formal offer? And they'll say yes or no, but they won't give a monetary description. Is this a necessary
rule? Do you see anything positive in it?
For mine, it's silly, because if the club really wants you, I guess it's just a matter of calling each other's bluff sometimes, where an agent will go, I've got an offer from this club, and the club will go, okay. And maybe they believe him, maybe they don't, but now they won't know what that number is, but they'll know that an offer has been lodged at the very least.
But doesn't this, what we were talking the other day, doesn't that then open up the idea of Buzz's manager could come and go, oh, he's got $1 million on offer at the ABC, and I ring the NRL and they say, yeah, there's an offer, but they won't tell me what. Might be for 200. You just don't know what the offer is. You don't know,
but you'll never know that. Some clubs do have a relationship now where they talk and there's people that they trust.
What are you alluding to there?
That clubs...
They talk to who? People at the...
Clubs talk to other clubs to get a gauge of market value at times, because I
think it's a waste of time.
It is. It is. And... we go back, we had that, June 30 rule, we had the round 13 rule, then we had the 10-day window, then we had nothing, and now we're back to 10 days. Still
August though, isn't it?
No, the transfer deadline will go back to June 30. It was only August because of COVID and because the old CBA rolled over.
Yeah, but it hadn't been COVID for a while, and we had it this year.
Yeah, because...
I know the CBA hadn't been done.
It rolled over from last year, I'm just wondering if you're listening to anything I'm saying today.
Hey?
Anything, something.
You're
You're
talking about beat-ups on very, very important issues.
You said it's a waste of time.
Yeah. It's not a good podcast so far, is it?
Not for you, anyway.
Yeah.
Well, last week was the worst ever. I think we're a little above.
Last week we got decent numbers. I thought I saw an email from you.
Yeah, going up all right. So what does this mean, Mick? Is there anything around junior players or the younger players? Has that been revealed yet, or am I going too far ahead at this point?
You're going a little bit early.
All right, well, let's move on.
But we'll have some full details over the next couple of days.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
Fuzzy.
Dear, dear. Can you help out with anything? You've called the first one a beat-up, then you act dumb and you don't know the second one. For goodness sake, produce.
What's next?
You know we've got some footy coming up this weekend.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Storm-Roosters Friday night, Amy Park, Battle of the Who's left standing. Geez, there's some injuries, suspensions. I don't even know which way this is going to go. Did we have any mail on a potential injury, potential out, or has that not come up yet?
Yeah, no, we haven't firmed that up yet.
I'm
So,
none
going
for
good.
2. I'm going great.
Going good.
Why? Who's in doubt?
No, I don't want to spark a frenzy in case it's not right.
But who isn't?
I don't even know if he's in doubt.
Oh,
But
well.
there is some mail that someone might appear out, but don't know if it's right or not.
Well, we are allowed to spread rumours on this show.
I don't want to cause a frenzy. It's not my mail, so I'm not sure if it's right.
I think this will be the knockout finals are great, aren't they?
I love elimination finals. Yeah.
Well, last week was great.
Yeah.
Especially
those
Knights.
those two
Raiders
games
game.
were.
Yeah, I
Outstanding.
think Storm will get them. The reason being, Munster, Hughes, and Grant cannot possibly play as poorly as they did last week.
Yeah, agreed. I agree.
And the Roosters are so undermanned. I think Melbourne will win.
Where the Roosters I think Melbourne will win. Where the Roosters can beat them is the blueprint that Brisbane had last week, and it's that middle part of the field where the Storm, aside from Nelson, they just don't have any enforcers. There's no one there where you go, okay, well they're gonna lead you out of a hole, or they're gonna take that carry, or the intimidation factor's not
Probably
there.
why they tried to sign Tino.
For sure, because the intimidation there is not there from Melbourne. Their centre edge defence has been really poor.
Questionable.
Throughout the year, I guess, and they've gone back to Justin Olam and Remus Smith's back on the wings, so I like that combination better. But yeah, there are some flaws.
Well, East is strong in the middles, mate. East is strong.
That's what
in
I'm
the
saying.
middles.
Yeah. That's the one area where I think the Roosters have a distinct advantage over the Storm.
Collins, Radley, Baker.
Yeah.
I tell you what,
Terrell May's going
He's
strong.
going-
that's
good,
it.
yeah.
He's been tremendous,
Yeah.
hasn't he?
So that's my. If the Roosters are to win, it'll be through the front door.
Brandon Smith, Lindsay Collins, you're going to need 10 out of 10s
Brandon
for these
Smith
guys.
defends at middle, doesn't he? You know,
Yeah.
and I think it comes down to Keary again. I think Keary's just been sensational last
Yeah.
month. I really do. And I thought he was a player early in the season because of his history of head knocks and the Roosters' salary cap pressures. Another bump and he was gone as a footballer. Retirement, tap on the shoulder. But, geez, he was great against Cronulla, wasn't he?
Yeah, outstanding. And he's been very good for the Roosters' run home. Luke Keary.
Sam Walker.
Momorowski and Corey Allen are the, weakness, aren't they, in the centres? But
The whole backline's
Yeah.
under strength there, the Roosters. The whole outside backs, except for, obviously Tedesco.
Junior Pauga's been a great story, hasn't he?
He's been a great story. But if you look at that back five, if you said that was the way the Roosters would play an elimination final at the start of the year, you'd be like, what has gone on there?
Yeah. Because, it was disappointing. Billy Smith, another injury. Jeez,
Yeah.
The jaw can't catch a break.
He would have been a smoky for the Kangaroos team.
Oh,
Billy
yeah.
Smith.
I asked Mal about him. And he said not this year, but I'm
Yeah.
keeping an eye on him.
Yeah.
Mal's so loyal. I guess.
But there's no one there.
I guess once he's lost Latrell, yeah.
No Wighton, no Latrell, no Tommy.
You'd pick the Newcastle.
No
centre
Campbell
ahead of
Graham.
him. You'd pick Bradman Best ahead of
You
him.
would. I'll just say it as a smoky, if they went deep, the way the centres are falling out at the moment, but he's injured, so it doesn't matter.
Yep. Interesting. Warriors Knights, we're still sweating on Sean Johnson. I think that's... I don't know. I know that it's a sellout at home and everything, but I think Sean Johnson's so critical. We saw last week. I know Newcastle aren't as ruthless and cutthroat as Penrith are, but I think Sean Johnson's just
He doesn't
so
play. I
important.
don't think they win.
No.
I don't think they win. The question for me around the Warriors is something similar to what the Knights felt last week. The expectation. You speak to the Knights players and officials, and they're walking the streets and they're getting stopped. There's flags. There's that real buzz which can zap your energy a little bit, and that's not the reason they started flat last week. But they just woke up in that opening 40 minutes and did a remarkable job to win that game in that second half. So there's just some suggestions, right, if the Warriors are going to encounter something similar on Saturday.
Yeah, well, sell out in 30 minutes for Go Media Stadium, which is the old...
What does it hold?
It's 25,000 Mount Smart, isn't it? Thereabouts. So, yes, what about...
I love this Newcastle side, guys. I'm cheering for them now.
They're the two best.
Now the
Both
Sharks are out.
they're the two best stories at the moment. Like in terms of public sentiment and support, you can't cheer against the Warriors, Buzzy. Like just
I am. I'm an old Newcastle boy. I spent my first 17 years in Newcastle.
You've never been to New Zealand?
I've been New Zealand, yes.
Well, there you go, you're Warriors, man.
No, I've been New Zealand. Covered a game over there a long time ago in windy Wellington, actually, a test match.
Yep.
Remember, never forget the hotel foyer. I wasn't getting on with Martin Bella at the time, so I was avoiding him whenever I saw him. He was an angry man, Marty Bella, back in the day, so I was avoiding him. Chippy, the great Chippy Frelingos, was on that tour too for the Mirror, and I was the telly.
Okay, nice.
And there was a rugby union international on as well, the Bledisloe Cup. So it was this massive weekend where league test Saturday, the Bledisloe, or the other way around, I can't remember.
Did you get to both, or...?
I did.
Nice.
I did, yes, I did. But I've fallen in love with this Newcastle side because of what the coach has done to come back to what Callum Pong has done when we thought he was a career Leichhardt over round 2. We didn't know if he'd make it back. And they're just so exciting, the footy they play.
Yeah. That side of Dom Young, Imagine getting on the outside of a defender and running down that right touchline, and the crowd that went up as he was just in full flight.
Who's their attack coach?
Blake Green.
Blake Green. They've got a rap on him, don't they? And Joey did the pre-season there as well.
Yeah, he still has a role there, but I'm pretty sure their attack coach Blake Green. They got Brian McDermott and Rory Koch-Jason there as well.
Yeah, and I reckon Pong is half a coach too. Like Adam O'Brien said, his press, they were working the left and he worked out himself, we'll go right second half, and that's when they opened them up.
Dom Young is a good story. He got dropped. Greg Mars, who's been
sensational story
around as well, you know. Adam Clune gets an opportunity at halfback, and he did a good job when Jackson Hastings missed a couple of games already. So, remarkable to think that one of these sides are going to be in a prelim.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Really, at the start of the year, no one had either of these sides in a prelim.
No.
So both great stories, really exciting for the game. And because of these sort of stories, there's only one Sydney side obviously playing this weekend, but it hasn't affected the interest levels because of the feel-good story of the Warriors and the Knights. And
the Peter Flingos Stallion moment of the year we do, and I've been trying to think, and that Dom Young spectacular try, who'd you score that against? Dragons, to be a contender. But I think for overall theatre, that Newcastle game the other night and the tension and the extra time, my goodness, it's hard to knock off. Is that the best thing you've seen this year?
It was the most exciting. With what was on the line, it was so exciting because at 16-6, you thought, Ricky's done it again. He's set up the ambush. They've got him. And then they just, there was obviously the turning point with the bite from Wighton, and there was the contentious strip call, and then...
I've seen some great games. What was the Para-Penrith game? Remember Cleary kicked a field goal miraculously. Was it a 2-pointer versus Para? And then they went to extra time and Moses kicked the winning goal.
Was that this season? Yeah,
it was.
Jeez, that's a long time ago.
But do you remember that game?
Was a few and far between. You should remember them.
It was a 40-metre Cleary, and that was...
Yeah.
Yeah, that was tremendous. And then Mitch went back down the other end and banged one over and...
Yeah, I thought they'd have jumped straight out at you, that one.
Oh, just...
It was one of the best field goals I've ever seen.
He's white Parramatta this year.
I think you were... weren't you sitting... You were on the ground, were you? Weren't you sitting behind Cleary where he kicked it?
He almost did it from dummy half, didn't he?
That was the day that...
was that one?
Reedy wrote that he'd re-signed Mitch.
Yes.
Yeah, because I got him on the field and he sort of confirmed it.
I wasn't looking for you.
You reckon I'm having a bad podcast and you can't remember the best field goal of the year? You reckon I'm having an ordinary one?
It all blurs.
See if we can't.
Too many games.
See if we can't pick us back up. Do you have any news around the Knights?
Oh, just around their coach and Adam O'Brien is. It is the most remarkable story. When we got to the midway point of the year, he was more chance of getting sacked than seeing out the season. And then, once their commitments are done and dusted, Newcastle have all but agreed to offer him a 2-year extension. So they'll sit down with Adam once the season's done and put that 2-year offer to him. He's got 12 months next year, so it's 3 more years. And by the end of that, if he sees that through, he'll become the most capped coach in Newcastle history. It's amazing to think that Michael Hagan's the only coach to have coached 100... at least 100 games for the Knights in their history.
It's crazy.
talking about him, O'Brien, I don't often publicly praise you, but I read I read your piece in the Sunday Telegraph news section last week on Adam O'Brien. It was the most beautiful piece of sports writing, Michael.
Thanks, Phil.
It was very, very emotional, and I was honestly almost reduced to tears with that man's relationship with his mum and what he went through with his family. And Mobbsy, what a good story.
Yeah, it took a heavy edit.
Did you knock it into shape, did you?
No, he did very well.
No, tell me, did you have to work on it?
No, it was very good.
It was an opportunity for you to take a bit of leadership.
No, I didn't have to. Hey, listen, if it
So
ain't broke, don't fix
go to
it.
Newcastle, go do it. And
No, it was a very, very
No,
nice story.
It was Adam got emotional sharing that story, as you could imagine, and the feedback's been good for Adam as well. I don't think people knew, and even people within the club knew something was wrong, but they didn't know the extent of it, and that's a credit to Adam to. And
you've got to, our listeners got to understand, this was all happening not on a 10-week streak.
Yeah,
this was happening when
he was about to get shown the door around that period, right? So he was dealing with the footy scrutiny and trying to reconcile with that, plus dealing with the grief of going through losing his mother as well. So, he's a tough guy, and but it also shows the support that he has of the playing group who have stuck by him and kept on the path that he'd set forward. And it is one of the great stories, one of the most we've been so critical of South Sydney and their slump and their capitulation. Well, on the flip side, this is an amazing story to see how Newcastle have really progressed in the back half of the year.
Did the tattoo hurt?
I didn't get one.
Did you ask?
I didn't ask if it hurt. No.
Oh,
mine hurt in 2016.
Can you show us it?
I've shown you plenty of times.
No, I didn't ask. I'm tattoo free, so I don't know.
We can leave the best calves in Sydney under the pants today. So.
Yeah, we will. What's next?
Well,
next, please.
Before we get into some listener questions, because of them there are many.
There are a lot.
Yeah. I've made you with that, haven't I? Putting out your email address. Are you getting much spam? Is there much abuse or anything?
No, there's no abuse.
Oh, that's disappointing.
I've got a big story for the listener questions.
Wow.
About a book.
Wow.
Right.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, I want to have a little look at some salary cap management because there's some clubs still alive at the moment.
You're not interested in this book, are you?
Your book, isn't that listener questions?
Yeah, but when I reveal who's been asked to write it, you'll be stunned. You'll fall off your chair.
Really?
Yes.
All right. Well, I've got a run sheet here.
Yeah, okay. Off you go.
Michael.
Listener questions.
What do you make of Paul Alamoti signing with Penrith this week from Canterbury?
It's a great signing for Penrith. Low risk. Good for Paul Alamoti as well to go to a successful club in a good system, and it shows a bit of maturity for him because massive haircut to go there. And if he thrives, we'll be talking about this in 12 months' time.
Can you remember, guys, Canterbury were beaten 66-0 by Newcastle, 10 weeks ago? Because they've won 10 straight. And because Cameron Ciraldo was under the pump and the players were under the pump, they'd been booed off and all this sort of thing, Phil Gould called a press conference at Belmore. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the Tuesday, and Dave Ricciardo was there from memory. And he, among many things, he said it's long, it's going to be painful, could take 5 to 6 years, but he said he was going to build from within, that they were constructing pathways, and which I'm sure they are. But since that meeting, both Alamoti and Avarillo, two outstanding local juniors, one's gone to the Broncos and one's gone to Penrith.
Dolphins, yeah.
To the Dolphins. And I just don't understand, boys, if the new players they've signed are edge first graders, and these guys are leaving because these edge players have come in probably ahead of them.
Yeah, well, you look at Paul
Did I
Alamoti.
raise a fair point?
You do. With Paul Alamoti, obviously he was the star on the rise, and this is his first year in first grade. But
Yeah.
they had him on probably an inflated deal for what he's worth, I think, because
For too long. Yeah.
for too long.
Yeah.
So I guess the idea of him re-signing for less money, coming back to the pack as far as your worth, that would have been a little difficult for Canterbury to navigate. So Penrith have swooped in,
What was
offered
he
him
on,
less
Mobbsy?
money. He was on. Was he up 300? Was he up that
Yeah,
far?
Because he was
At
supposed
least,
to be the
yeah.
hottest kid running.
Yeah.
Well, because his deal would be 200 or less at
I think
Penrith
he's
now.
been going. I think he's been playing 300,000 football, hasn't he?
Yeah. No. I
No,
don't think so
hasn't?
because there wasn't a market for him, Buzz. You look at the fact that other clubs weren't lining up. I think they were asking for fours to start with, and it's fallen back
Who manages
significantly.
him, mate?
I'm not sure who his agent is, but yeah, it's fallen back significantly. Avarello's a massive blow because he showed what he could do, and I think potentially if they had their time again.
Well, should
They
they
would've-
have kept Avarello and left Jamin Salmon at Penrith, or should they?
they
They
definitely-
chased Connor Watson for a long time, and they.
I think they definitely should have kept Avarello.
And put him in one position. He's been,
Yeah,
you're trying to build some consistency when you're either at fullback or centres or playing at 6 or.
but I think it's a really good move.
Who
for
you
Alamoti.
Who are you most looking forward to watching next year? Like, I can't wait to see the Bulldogs and see if they're going to
South,
South, St George.
not so much.
Why? Where do you tell me now? Where will they run? Now, none of this
15th.
15th or 16th.
Yeah, and that's been complimentary.
There's
What
not
do you
much place left to go. Wow.
Unless they, we've got some questions around.
Mate, you're
this.
not all that rock solid, are you?
Well-
You're a lifelong fan of the club and you're bagging them.
I'm being honest.
We
that,
did
You're
ask
like
about
a-
the
you're
pom-poms
like a-
last
that
week.
roster is horrific.
Yeah, but you're a postcode fan, you are.
I'm not. I'm a realist. I'm a journalist first, Buzz. Isn't that what you say to me?
I tip Cronulla all the time, and you should be more loyal to your football team.
Well, I don't. Where do you think they're going to come?
St George, I think, could possibly get towards, at their very best, 10th. Between 10 and 14. Well, you said 16.
Yeah, and that's judging.
Well, it's a big difference.
That's
There's a
what-
big difference between 10th and 14th too.
yeah.
Oh, 10th and 12th, it makes you happier. This, I promise you, is your worst podcast ever, you.
I'm gonna rate. We should do it.
I shouldn't have done third early because it threw you.
We should have done
I'm
sound
going
on
to do
all.
a poll when this goes on Twitter. Who was worse?
And can you do another one and ask if people actually thought I was eating a porcupine?
Yeah, I did.
But no, as it stands,
Oh,
that Ross, I've said it. As it stands, that Ross is bad.
yeah. But you look at
Ben
Penrith.
Hunt want to be there. Could we establish that?
We've established that he doesn't.
Will they keep him there?
Yeah.
That'll
I think
work
he's
out
come
well.
to terms with it,
Far out.
loosely.
It's like when you get a really bad medical diagnosis. He's come to terms with it.
He's gotta be
That did
there,
not sound
yeah.
very good at all.
No.
But look at this Panthers backline next season. Dylan Edwards at fullback, Sania Taruva on the wing with Brian Toto, Isaiah Tungo, Taylor May in the centres, and then the others, Paul Alamoti, Jesse McLean, Buzzy, your man, Isaiah Yongi, the young kid coming through. Tom Jenkins, who's played a bit of first grade already, he's off contract. So
Oh, you've lost me here. What are we doing?
I'm talking about this Panthers
Oh, right.
backline
They won't have a
here.
spot for Tom Jenkins now. Their top 30's done.
Yeah, well, that's another
And
one squeezed.
How
Yeah,
did
yeah.
Isaiah
I can-
Longy go this year, Mobbsy? He was my rookie of the year.
He did okay in Cup. He didn't get a first grade debut
Yeah, right.
as yet. So, but they've obviously got wraps on him.
I can exclusively reveal that Lindsay Smith has re-signed too.
Really?
Yeah, it'll be in the column for tomorrow. A couple more years.
Look at that. Young Matt Incarnation will be very happy with that. He's been nervous. Good St Mary's junior Lindsay Smith hasn't, and
Keep another one.
they've taken their time with him too, developing him, getting him ready,
He
and
looks
he's
good.
been a mainstay this
You
year.
allowed to break Penrith stories?
Why not?
Signings.
Why not?
Oh, they seem to be very choosy where they leak. You sure you're allowed? If you run it past Fletch?
I'll ask permission.
Yeah.
We better listen to you goose.
Why? It's a gibber podcast.
You were pretty happy with that, weren't you? Look at you.
Well, it's taken how long we've been going? It's
Well,
about
I
time
didn't
you
even
said
know what
something.
we're talking about.
Oh, there's a shock.
Well, we've got a lot of listener questions, Mick. Should we just move into those?
So, do you want to start with this one, Buzz? Then Bondi Trev wants to know when is the Buzz book coming out? Which journo would you trust, and who wouldn't you trust to write it?
I had a phone call within the last week from a journalist wanting to write my book.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not Tony Adams.
Yes.
That was going to be my guess.
The mole.
And what did you say?
Well, the mole that actually was acting on behalf of a publisher.
Was he?
And I said, look,
Self-publisher?
if I am ever going to do a book, I will not be having
Requiring your services.
No,
is that
exactly.
What you're
There
You're
was-
sitting in the fiction section.
There was not a nice way of saying it to him, but
Are you going to do a book, Buzz? What's the plan?
I don't
He's written a few, Tony. It's the
Fine.
great Tony Adams, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think they were bestsellers.
Well, wait, I'm more interested in Buzz's book. Are you going to do one?
I might. I'll see, mate.
Would you-
I'll see.
Oh, name names. It'd be outstanding.
That's what it should be called.
Mm.
This one's for you, Buzzy, then. Joey and Mr. Shrub wants to know Flano's 4 to 5 players that he wants to buy. Any ideas?
I think he wants to buy a lot of players, mate, but it's who's available, and they're
He
just,
needs them.
Sorry?
He needs them.
Well, he wants Joseph Swalihi still for
Does he?
1 year because he can't get anyone until
Yeah.
the following year. But I'm sure he'll be very, very active in the market. I think he's got to get through next year best he can and start recruiting now in November for the following season. That's what he's going to do, and your guess is as good as mine, but I think he'll be after, every good player between 500,000 a million.
24 is going to be hard for him, but 25
Or
he's gonna
16th,
make some
according to
kill,
you.
know?
Maybe we'll have a little bet, Mr. Wong's. If they finish closer to 10th, you
but-
pay.
well, I need an asterisk, right? Because my
Do you?
my ranking is based on the way the squad stands right now. And if you can add 4 or 5 players, I might change my mind.
Oh, do you?
So
yeah,
I'm
but you've got to weigh that up when you're at the time. You've got to.
Well, why don't we make 13th over under?
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
speaking of Mr. Wong's, I did have a chat with Josh Drayton this week about
And chance you
organising
might organise it.
a lunch to maybe mend some fences as well with after last week's
After you guys
podcast.
spraying poor people.
Oh,
Corey wants to know, is Buzz's top 8 ranked CEO, Justin Pascoe, on the way out?
Oh, look, he's still got the support of Lee Hadjipantalis.
Is he still in your top 8?
No, I've dropped him out. He's had a proud season. He's a
CEO
bit like-
power rankings.
No, he's
Love
a bit
it.
like the Rabbitohs. And
Oh, you've dropped Blake out of the top 8.
no, he's a bit like clubs that should have made the top 8, CEOs.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, you get me?
Okay, I got you. I'm with you now. Ryan, if
So
you
he's sort of like the Cowboys and South.
okay,
So he's out of my 8.
he's out of your 8.
But I might have an off-season lunch and he might find himself back there.
we might have to get your top 8 next
Might
week.
have to swing past Grappa on the way home.
If you were the Rabbitohs, would you have signed Dom Young or Jack Wighton?
That's a good question. I would have signed Jack Wighton.
I think I probably would have signed Jack Wighton too, only because they're in that premiership window and they've gone all in. That's probably mine.
That's it.
I
My
would have
take-
signed the front row myself. I
Yeah.
think that's where they're like.
But you could
Would you have signed the front row?
if I'm South, yeah.
Yeah.
What's South's premiership window then? How many years you give them?
Oh, with Cody, Damien Cook, Jack White, and Tom Burgess, 2 years.
2 years.
With those guys,
Mm.
not with that's not Latrell,
No.
but that cycle of players, they've got 2 years.
Wow.
You disagree?
No, I just like it. I'm just looking at headlines to sell this podcast. South's 2-year premiership window. Carry on us.
What about this one?
Bang.
Peter Ferguson.
You have to. Oh, you don't like him?
No, I don't. I can't answer him.
Oh.
I don't know.
What are your thoughts on lamb and cheese together? It's a combination that's quite tasty yet vastly underappreciated. And I never hear you guys give it a run in your dinner plans.
You know, my lamb man is Reedy. All right?
I eat lots of lamb, but I haven't had lamb and cheese.
How is Reedy your lamb man when you've got the Greek bloke sitting next to us? Are you insulted?
If you don't mind, Reedy's recipe with the rosemary, the lemon, and the garlic is a golden oldie. Yeah, I've had lamb. Have you ever had a wrap?
Yeah, on a wrap, you can have it with cheese. Yeah. But you won't serve like a leg of lamb with some cheese, would you?
No.
I tell you what, it worked.
Drizzle the cheese and...
I tell you what I love, cauliflower cheese.
Yes.
So how about we whack at some of that with our next lamb roast?
Well, you can do what you
like. What do you mean our next? We haven't had one.
Hey? At our next family dinner.
Hey?
Michael, Adam, come downstairs.
Good question, Peter Ferguson. Next.
For Mock, why isn't a painkilling injection considered performance enhancing?
Because it's not performance enhancing.
Well,
it's not performance enhancing.
It does enable performance.
It doesn't make you go
doesn't
any
make
better.
You go better. No, it doesn't. No, that's fair enough.
But I get the argument.
Yeah. I've got one that I haven't read, that I haven't got listed. I got it this morning that needs to be read, Buzz. Are you looking for a suite to be named after you or a room to be named after you at the NRL's new acquisition overlooking Shark Park?
Oh, the
I was going to
Hotel.
ring Peter Volandis and I was going to suggest it becomes the Buzz Penthouse there.
Penthouse?
Yeah. How good would it be?
Not like the laundry room or something, the penthouse.
I don't know why they've bought down there, though. It's an odd investment,
Well,
isn't
you
it?
should be happy. It means the
No,
Sharks
I am
aren't going
happy.
anywhere.
I am happy, and I hope it's...
They'll fix the stadium up now too. You're flying.
I'd like to know what the return is for the NRL on that. And I think most property investors look at 8% return as successful. So if you get 8% on 20 million, what's that, Mobbsy? Well, what's 8% on 10 million?
Anyway.
Sorry.
Let's go back. Let's go to some emails.
Well, what I'm saying is, it's good funding for the game, you goose.
No, I'm
Look,
not.
this podcast is more about, what teams are going to make the 8 and player signings. We're here
Can
to
we get Ross
educate.
Greenwood on the phone? I need to find 8% of 20 million.
Yes.
Well, put in your calculator, you fool. See, next time there's a CBA, there'll be more funds there for the players.
Nice. All right, we've got some emails.
It doesn't interest you that we're making what our return's going to be on it?
Oh, I'm very excited. Mitch, this is from Mitch.
I've never, ever walked off a podcast before.
Yes,
but
you have.
No, I haven't. I'm so close to a ban.
Oh, you'll like this one.
1.6 million, is that?
Well, there you go.
There you
We're
go.
making the game, with that investment, is making $1.6 million a year cash.
Awesome. Mitch wants to know.
You're a smart ass.
Hi, Mick.
Sometimes.
I love Buzz's podcast.
Yes.
I listen every Thursday, Arvo, on the way home from work. And I wrote back to Mitch, I said, anyone that refers it to Buzz's podcast doesn't get read out. But my question is, why do you think the bottom, more popular teams get the rub of the green? One example of this is when Penrith scored their second try against the Warriors, where Nathan Cleary looked to be in front of the play of the ball. This wouldn't have changed the result, but why can I pick it up watching live TV and the bunker can't? So I guess the theme is, do the better sides get the rub of the green?
I don't think so. I think mostly these decisions even themselves out over a full year, Mobbsy.
Yeah, I know a lot of people think that. I know your future autobiographer, Tony Adams, says that every time the Tigers have a bad call. But I don't buy into it. I've seen teams up the top of the ladder get some crap calls as well. But there is a argument to be made there from Mitch about stuff that you can see in live TV that the bunker can't. The amount of passes out of dummy half that I see go forward that are just let go, it's fait accompli, play on. I scratch my head at sometimes. So I've got my own little gripes. We won't get into those.
You all right?
No, but that's all right.
What was the game, the forward pass against the Bulldogs recently at Acor? There was the worst forward pass from dummy half I've ever seen.
Canberra against the Tigers? Was that one?
It was terrible.
There was one in Canberra, wasn't there, as well?
I think it was the day Shane Ain took his wife to the football.
Very careful.
Why?
No, I
A
remember.
working match official should have the assistant referee in the box.
I was just remembering the
love going to the
legal notes that came back from your column that week when I was working with you on that. So it was, but no, it was all clear. It was all good.
Okay.
Drama.
No, it was just, are we sure? And we said,
I was sure. Don't worry about that.
We'll get the podcast legal before it goes out. So remember last week, Buzz? Do you remember last week episode, right? Where we had a shout. So someone wanted us to give a shout out to Kurt from Sweden.
Yep.
Well, Kurt's written in.
Oh, that's good.
Live
Did you like his shout out?
Live and exclusive from Sweden. He did like his shout out. And he was quite complimentary, but
don't know where you get live from, but anyway.
the question that he asked is, do you guys think that Kyle Flanagan moving to the Dragons and being coached by his dad will give his career a resurgence, or will it be a detriment because his dad may give him more of a chance than other coaches, even if he's not performing well? This is from Kurt in Sweden.
My thoughts on this is Shane has put pressure on himself by signing Kyle. I hope it works out, but I just don't think Shane needed the pressure. I just don't. Unless you're a Lang, and look, Billy Walters and Kevy have worked out well. And
people were saying similar stuff around Billy as well, and Kevy.
He's had a good year,
but
Billy.
He was considered the weak link in that Broncos side, but he's been outstanding this year. So hopefully Kyle and Shane can do the same. I don't think Kyle will have as dominant role as Billy's got. I think he'll be that bench utility and that fill-in.
Just looking at you on the monitor, Mick.
Thoughts?
Do we know what our YouTube numbers are? Are we growing?
Well, we haven't been in the Hot Gun studio
lately. Look how good
lately.
you look over there, Mick. Look at that monitor.
Look, okay.
He's looking good. I prefer this sort of smart casual look on you than your 360 suit.
You told us pre-show that you wanted us to start wearing suits. Didn't you say that next year we're going to be in suits?
No, I didn't see how well you... Have a look at that monitor. Get it off me back to Mick. How good's he looking, Mobbsy?
Yeah, it's not a bad shirt.
Anyway.
Yeah.
What's doing?
Well, you're being gibbering. Why shouldn't I?
Speaking of gibbering, we're moving on to dinner plans.
Mate, I looked and looked. Bangkok Bites in Cronulla, the jungle chicken curry, if you put in extra hot, extra vegetables, best dish.
Really?
Love it, mate. Finally found it.
So you're back. You're locked in now. But do you do it even Thursdays with no game day on? I thought it was a game day specialist for you.
No, we had it last Sunday night.
Okay.
Yeah, after the thriller up in Newcastle.
And tonight you go again.
I'm not sure what tonight is. Not sure. Well, I can't have 2 in a week, jungle curries.
You can.
Wasn't it the whole purpose of what you're having tonight, not what you had last Sunday?
I'll tell you what I got in the fridge. I love these chicken sausages. They've got cheese and rocket in them. I might throw some of them on the barbecue.
It's nice day today to have a barbecue too. It's getting warm.
Yeah, it's heating up tomorrow, isn't it?
We're having chicken risotto.
Are you? You're not going to like me after what you just said to Buzz, because I might be going out for a little lunch with some of our colleagues.
Mexican?
Around the corner. No, there's a little place just around the corner there where a chef named Mark puts on a little something. So
what?
No,
what sort of food?
What?
It's the evening. It's the Evening Star.
Oh,
but
who cares what the chef's name is?
Is this a pub? Why are you just going for a pub thing?
Well,
trying to make it mysterious. A chef named Mark.
Well, that's what it is. It's Mark's on Elizabeth, so that's what we've dubbed
that's
it.
What's called Mark's.
That's just a gibber name that Boo Bailey and I have given
All
it.
right, see ya.
Yeah, but I'll be going. There's some really good hot wings there. They go very hot.
Love. Can you bring me some back?
Yeah, Thursday special.
I got to stay here. I got a meeting at 1:20. So
what's going on?
Just got a meeting. So
Big
staying
one?
in.
HR again.
Yeah, you complained, have you?
All right, see you next week.
Righto, thanks for that. Enjoy.
See ya. Bye.